hello, everyone. Good evening, and of course, welcome to MAD 97.5 FM. I'm like Ramsey. It is my pleasure to be here. I know on Sundays at 7 you got accustomed to hearing my friend, my brother Randy Randolph Critchlow, but Mr. Critchlow is otherwise occupied with forward movements, business tonight. So the wonderful thing is it's always a team of us. So it is my pleasure to be not only filling in for him tonight, but to be with you on the air. I want to thank you very much for joining us. We're going to be here with you for the next hour. I trust that everyone had an amazing week last week. I trust that you had an amazing weekend because it's Sunday night, so it's almost the end of the weekend. I know some of you are dreading Monday, going back to work tomorrow, but it is what it is. We got to do it. You got to move. We have to pay those bills. So again, get yourselves together. While you're listening to us this evening, I trust that you're ironing your clothing, getting the little ones ready, so that you won't have to be rushing in the morning. So use this opportunity. You can listen and you can work at the same time. And I have a special smile on my face because I am not alone this evening. I am here with the leader for Forward Ghana Movement, the founder leader that is for Forward Ghana Movement. And every time I say founder leader, I get tickled pink. And the reason I'm tickled pink because in the past, when I say founder leader, I got accustomed to talking about a man. But now I'm saying founder leader and I'm talking about a woman. So the Honourable, the woman with sass, the woman with all the great things to offer Guyana is here with me, the Honourable Samantha Walton-Desir. You'll be hearing from her in a moment. Let me take this opportunity to say good evening to those persons who are also joining us via internet land, whether you're in Guyana, you're out of Guyana, what time of the day it is, good evening, good afternoon, good morning, good night, whenever you're catching this, welcome, welcome, welcome. This is Forward Ghana Movement's Sunday evening program. All right, so we have some serious business to get into this evening. Serious and also light, and we'll be telling you about Forward Ghana Movement and everything that's happening and everything that's coming. So it is now time for me to introduce the one and the only. Miss Samantha Walton-Desir.
Hello.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening.
That's all. What's happening? I am awesome. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good.
You're alright. You're alright.
I'm okay.
You know, I am happy that you're alright because you're making everybody alright. You're making everyone alright, including me. I am not alright, but I know you. I listen. I got things I want to rant about. Things that you don't feel the need to rant about, but I feel the need to rant about it because we had a disrespectful week. I had a very disrespectful week and I don't like it.
It's interesting.
Yeah, it's quite interesting, you know.
I did. I went to I did some self-care yesterday. It was self-care Saturday for me.
Yes.
Because I was like, you know, man, you need a massage, girl. Because the way I'd been dragged through the internet streets, I swear my body was hurting.
Oh, man, don't talk about dragging. Don't make it go into the Creole.
I'm not, you know, I'm not big, but I was like, this requires self-care Saturday, you know. My mom always says to us, you can only give out of the overflow.
Yeah.
And so it was important that, you know, that I take care of myself in the midst of all that's happening and, the salacious stuff. But
I know you're grateful to God, and again, you have talked to the team, and Let me just push some music up for just a couple of seconds before I go.
Yes, my friend.
Again, if you're now joining us, this is Forward Guyana Movement Sunday evening program. We trust that you are enjoying the vibes here on 97.5 FM. Of course, this is Buju Banton in the background and Stephen Marley. You know, Amanza, I gotta do some brushing up on knowing my music and knowing who's singing.
Which one is this? Let me hear.
This one, I can't lie to the people, man. The thing in front of me, this is Buju Banton and Stephen Marley. Even though, you know, I'm a music lover, some of them go over my head. All right, again, folks, if you're now joining us, welcome to Forward Guyana Movement's program. We have, Amanda and I have a lot to talk about. Madam Found the leader. Madam Member of Parliament, yes, and I'm saying it. You go and tell them, like Ramsey called her Member of Parliament, Forward Guyana Movement Member of Parliament, even though it hasn't been called. It has gazetted? All right, you see, well, I'm missing things, so I'm going to learn some things tonight, but
what they're awaiting is there's a proclamation that is supposed to be issued, and so as soon as that is issued, there'll be the swearing in, and the work of the 13th Parliament gets underway. It's a very, very serious time that we find ourselves in at this point, because I don't think in our recent history we've had an opposition made up of three distinct parties, and so it's going to be very, very important. I think it's going to be important that there be a modus vivendi shape as to how the opposition will coordinate and how it will function. So we've got some very serious work ahead, and you know, if people notice that I've sort of blanked all of the negativity out, is because I understand that there's a lot of work to be done. There's a lot of stuff happening. There's a lot geopolitically happening, and it really requires our energy and our focus. So that is where
I know that is where you are and you're ready to look forward. But I'm sorry, like I said, we had a very disrespectful week, and I want to clear up some of the disrespect, because I called you Madam Member of Parliament, and I can say Madam Member of Parliament because
I think
you are
getting feedback that there are some sound issues.
We got some issues. All right.
So if those who are hearing us could confirm, because somebody said there are lots of echoes and.
All right. So we're gonna ask our operators to help us out. Folks, sorry if there are some issues. We're gonna have that sorted out and get back to you. Let me give you some music in the meantime.
FM, yes, I.
So
All right. We trust that it's sorted now, but just guys continue to give us your feedback. Let us know that you're getting us clearly. Because again, this is a very important conversation. The family leader of Forward Guyana Movement doesn't have a vindictive or malicious bone in her body. So she don't even want to deal with issues that I want to deal with. But I want to deal with it because I am tired of the disrespect. It seems that every time a woman decides to take the reins and to take control, it becomes a problem. I don't understand. We offended the men. We even offended our fellow ladies. And I don't like it. And I don't like the disrespect that happened this week. So even before we talk about women in leadership and why Guyanese need to do better and begin to support our women in leadership, I want to get this nonsense out of the way. And this is why I continuously, this evening, I'm calling you Madam MP, Madam Member of Parliament. You have been accused, and again, I don't understand it because I am so close to this thing that I know it's a pack of lies that we have being spread out there. Or you reneged on, you're dishonest because you reneged on some promise of a seat. I don't know when you promised this seat, if you promised this seat before the election, because I don't know that as good as you are, as brilliant, as intelligent as you are, I don't know you were a seafarer woman that you could tell whether we get 1 seat or 10 seats, that you could have promised people a seat and promised rotation. Again, I know you don't want to do it, but I force you to do it this evening. Please talk to me about this seat.
No, but I think Nigel London did a very good job of explaining to some degree what the situation is. I don't wish to speak to, for it to be inflammatory or to inflame anything further. I think as leaders, you have to lead, and so I mean that's where my focus is. Somebody said truth usually takes the stairs, so it takes a long time to come up. And that is really what happens. And so, let me see, as a leader, and particularly as a woman in leadership, you have to be prepared to be scrutinized more. You have to be prepared to be attacked more. You have to be prepared to explain yourself more. I mean, you look at the politics across the world. It's women. We work 10 times harder to get the same fairness. You get less pay for the same work. So it is something that you have to decide where you're going to focus your energies. And I simply don't have time for the foolishness. There are people who voted for us to represent them. And that is what I intend to do when the 13th Parliament starts. We have a lot of work to do. It is, I truly do regret, and I have to say that, I really, truly regret the discomfort that this is causing, particularly our supporters. But I think when you're striving for cultural change, when you're striving for transparency and accountability, it often comes with a level of discomfort. I am not worried because I know, whatever scrutiny can be withstood. But I think it is important that, as the leader of the Forward Guyana movement, that I keep my focus on what matters.
Awesome.
And what matters is giving people the quality and the caliber of representation that I have become known for. I just didn't pop out from anywhere.
Yeah. Yes. Let them know it's please and thanks.
People are trusting me for a particular quality and caliber of representation, and that is what I intend to bring. So. You've got to forgive me if I'm not going to be focused on the negativity. Yes, it has happened.
Yeah.
Yes, I think it was important that it happened because
at this time.
And at this time, these things are important. Some costs, like I said earlier to somebody, some costs are better paid up front.
Yes, I saw that comment. Exactly.
Because once you've been around long enough, you understand that it is always better to understand who is around you. So people say, oh, you should know. But I truly, truly believe in leadership that includes and uplifts. And so when you have a big tent and you welcome people and you welcome...
And all of us can't look the same and behave the same.
Everybody will not look the same, everybody will not behave the same. And so it's always a risk and a jeopardy that you have when you have a big tent approach, because it's not a cult. It's truly an inclusive movement. So these are some of the growing pains that will come. And so for me, what you focus on and what you give energy to grows. So the only thing I'm interested in giving energy to is the work ahead. We have a very, very important 5 years before us.
Yes, we do. Indeed, we do.
We're going to see more oil production. We're going to see more wealth coming into the country. We have to determine and you were at the closeout meeting that we had in terms of how do we move forward and what is the robust parliamentary agenda that we will have to craft.
Yeah.
And particularly given the fact that we spoke about the configuration of the parliament, earlier.
Yes.
These are the important things. These are the things that matter. These are the things that I want to lend my voice to. And I think I'll be doing the people who trust me for a certain caliber of representation to dwell on that. All of the questions are going to be answered.
In due time. But I want to jump in here quickly too, because I like the fact that you keep talking about the unique configuration of the what is going to be the 13th Parliament. And it's an interesting question. I know that you're a strong woman and you're ready and you have plans. Again, as I said, I'm so close to this, so I know that you have plans, and Forward Guyana Movement has big plans for Guyana. I want you to talk about the fact that, again, you as the member of parliament and the only member of Forward Guyana who is going to stand in the National Assembly. I know you don't like to focus on the frills and the fanfare of it, but again, this is history in the making. This is groundbreaking. A new party, less than 2 months, got 1 seat, and now the lone woman, at least, for the beginning, will be standing in the National Assembly. What should that mean for our women, the women of our country?
Well, I hope that they receive the message that it's okay to take your destiny into your own hands.
Lovely.
I hope that they understand that if you dare to be different, it will come with criticism. But everybody who knows me knows my mantra. My mantra is something: if you do not live for the praise, you will not die because of the criticism.
Awesome.
So you know how you understand how I roll.
Yeah.
You've gotten close to me throughout the campaign, and you've seen the way we work and the way we put our shoulders literally to the wheel. I mean, the campaign, I think this is the first time I'm back since we wrapped up the campaign.
Yes, it is. It is the first time you're on radio. Yeah.
It was. I am not sure where we got the strength to do what we did. I think it's only by the grace of God.
Yes.
And just sometimes the 24 hours of work, like you sleep for 2 hours, you go shower, and you're back. But it was an interesting journey, building something from the ground up. I mean, from when we started to go get signatures, going across 7 regions to get signatures, and literally pounding the ground to put it together. And so, it is something, it is an experience that I will not forget. It is also an experience that I will not allow anyone to frustrate or to cheapen.
Well said, dear.
By distracting with nonsense. And it has to be very clear that when you go, and this is where experience will come in, when you go to Parliament and you stand and you take an oath, you not only stand to represent the people who voted for you, you take an oath to uphold the Constitution.
Yes, ma'am.
And so you become the MP for every Guyanese.
Yeah.
And so I think that paradigm is important. So the quality and caliber of representation and understanding how it works is very, very important. But I think women should feel empowered. I think women should feel empowered. Very often women in leadership, you have this issue where, women can't make decisions, they're emotional. Or they're too emotional. And then when you encounter a woman that can negotiate, that can bargain, and that can manage just as well as you, she's
aggressive.
She's aggressive.
And
there's
the
that
B word.
B word.
She's too much. We can't handle her, and we gotta. But this is the interesting thing. I'm happy that you're saying all of this because I spoke about the fact that people are not yet accustomed to a woman who's going to decide, here what happened, I ain't you, stay in your place, woman. And the minute you start, you get out there and you become, according to them, by their definition, you become aggressive and you're called the B word.
Father telling us nobody puts you in a corner.
There you go. And a man taught you that. Imagine that.
My dad is very, very particular with his daughters and his granddaughters. And so people may believe that, you're just putting on, but it really is not. When you walk in purpose and you understand why you're here and you understand what the attacks are about, because this is an attack on my voice and my credibility, and I see it. And so, I'm not worried by it because my work speaks for itself. When I
Yes, it
interact
does.
with people, they understand who I am. And so it doesn't matter who tries to paint or who tries to say what. That doesn't shake me. It's par for the course. It comes with leadership. At all times, you have to have your eye on the North Star of what your purpose is and what the mission is. And be very clear about what you're prepared to compromise about and what you're not prepared to compromise about. And I think when you get to that point, a lot of people and you will have to part ways because your non-negotiables are your non-negotiables.
Exactly. Yeah.
And
It
so
becomes
if it means
boundaries.
pruning the tree, generally when a tree is pruned, it is because it is going to become more productive.
Yes, it is.
So,
and we
forgive
pruned
me-
the tree
forgive
early.
me.
I am sorry.
Forgive me if I'm smiling and appear to be very unbothered by this, but when you understand, and you've been around long enough, you understand that not every negative is a negative. I truly am from the school of thought that all things work together for good, and so
Yeah,
maybe
but
we
don't
can
worry.
move on now
Yeah, we can move on
and
from
talk
it.
about-
We're
and talk
happy that
about
you're
the
smiling, but
empowering thing.
even before you go there, we can't deny the listeners and the viewers some music. So we just give you a couple seconds of music, and we are right here with you.
Cause I'm feeling the sweat, yeah. Let me know your name. Ain't I do the same, yeah. Tell me what are you
All right, for those of you who are now joining us, this is Forward Guyana Movements program. Those of you in internet land, radio land, thank you so much for tuning in. I'm 𝐒𝐢𝐿 here with the amazing founder leader of Forward Guyana Movement, Miss Amanda Walton-Desir. And we have, like she said, we have so many other important things to get to.
there's a lot happening.
Let's talk about GECOM, because I know, and you talked about our closeout meeting, and it's one of the things we talked about, the fact that, and you've said this publicly already, you basically wrote to GECOM on behalf of Forward Guyana Movement, requesting some information about I'd like to call them alien voters, people from the Commonwealth who voted in our elections, and you have not, and correct me if I'm wrong, Madam Founder Leader, but have you yet gotten a response?
We have not gotten a response from GECOM. Can you imagine? The Honourable Justice Claudette Singh, Madam Chair, did not even formally acknowledge receipt of the correspondence. The only person that we received a response of acknowledgement from was Commissioner Vincent Alexander. And up until now, nothing. Now, the last time I checked, these are people who are paid by Guyanese taxpayers. Right?
Very correct.
So you would think that if a political entity asks, or even if a Guyanese citizen were to ask for information of this importance, that there should be some answer or acknowledgement forthcoming. Crickets, nothing.
Silence.
And so I've written again and I've asked, well, what's up? Why aren't we hearing from you? So we'll see where that goes. But the issue is you cannot have a political system where it is possible for citizens of a foreign state to come in and to completely alter the political course of this country and then fly back home. Can you imagine what we're opening the door to? That every 5 years, right, a group of people can come in, determine the direction of our elections, and then go back to their
I want to
homeland.
add to it too. It doesn't this, and I know you're the legal mind, and you know what's happening. Could this not also affect our local government election? Because that's what we're staring down.
Local government election. It can affect everything that we do in this country. Because remember now, what this government has done is that they have abolished house-to-house registration.
So we never
and
gonna have that again?
verification. So no, they've changed the law. They use their one-seat majority to change the law, which is why this parliament is so important, because yes, they have a greater majority, but the level of scrutiny that they will have to come under
Right.
will be important.
Exactly.
Now, yes, we know there was low voter turnout. Yes, we know that despite all the money that they spent, there was only like 9,000 votes over that they got. But it is important to understand where those votes came from. Right?
Exactly.
Because that is all it takes to skew our elections in the manner that it has been skewed. So you could have Bangladeshis or any Commonwealth country person coming here. They're registered here because they've maybe spent a year, and it just depends because there is no independent mechanism for verifying that they have spent a year. There's a particular stamp and a particular stamp that has to be checked, but information received suggests that even that is not checked. So this is why you have, for example, in Ogle, there are 128 persons registered to one address. So we need people to understand why it is that we're asking these questions.
Yeah.
Because
yeah,
if in year 4.5, 5,000 people fly into this country and vote, that is the direction that our country will go in. They don't have to stay.
Right.
They can come.
You can
Because guess
determine
what?
how I live and then leave.
Yes, yes. So you determine how Guyanese exist for the next 5 years, and then you hop on a plane and you go. Then the other thing is that there is no reciprocity in terms of voting, right? So I can't go to Bangladesh or India or Nigeria
and
and
spend a year and vote.
in their country. So because of political expediency, this is what the PPPC has opened us up to. And because we have a country where they know that once they dog whistle, they have people who will carry the message of sycophancy far and wide. So they truly believe that they could do whatever they want and get away with it because they have Guyanese programmed. This is why for the next few years, what we speak, our voice is going to be important because we have to have credible voices to bring understanding and information to the people of Guyana so that they understand what is going on and they understand how high the stakes are, and they understand that if we continue to be distracted with the circus and song type thing, decisions are going to be made for how we live our everyday lives, and we're going to be relegated to bystanders and observers
in our own country. Yeah, and as the elders say, right, we enable stringberry, you know?
Yeah. So we have a lot of work to do.
Yes, we do.
We have a lot of work to do. So we're waiting on GECOM, and we're not going to let up. We're not going to let up. They owe us that information. And you know how you know that they know? Because they process the ID cards. So it's simply a matter of going into their system and telling us these are the number of ID cards we've issued to Commonwealth
But
citizens.
then the problem with doing that, they can't, the Honourable Justice Singh, she cannot do that because then you're asking, Madam Fong, the lead, you realize you're asking the people to tell you on themselves? You realize that you ask them to tell on themselves?
Well, if enough people of Guyana would back me up on this,
including the major opposition parties
and the APNU parties, then maybe we will get some answers. And then maybe we could take the necessary action within the boundaries of the law to make sure that Guyanese citizens determine the future of Guyana.
And here is where I want to talk to those other major opposition parties that will be in the 13th Parliament. The Founder Leader Forward Guyana movement has been saying it for months, for weeks, for months. We're all on the same side, you know, we live in the same street, but it's a different house. I would believe you're in opposition, you got the same goal. So I'm calling on you to support. Don't be, you know, we know things, we hearing things, we know that things happening. Don't be out there backbiting for your own personal gains and to repeat something ridiculous that a young man said, that he's accusing our founder leader of this duty-free business, this wanting to be in parliament for this duty-free business. I know the things that y'all are accusing our founder leader of is what some of them people they want to do. So don't be distracted by the duty-free. Focus on looking after Guyana, Guyana's business, the business of our people, you know? So I'm happy that you talked about that. So I'm calling on the people in the opposition, support what you're supposed to support for the betterment and for the improvement of the lives of our people. You know, it's that simple.
But it really is that simple. And we have to move away from this need to be salacious. You know, I always make one point. The people who do not know or who refuse to know or who refuse to apprise themselves of the facts will always be at the mercy of the people who know.
Indeed. Correct.
And so, in this information age, we have no excuse for ignorance. We have no excuse to say, oh, I didn't know. The case brought by Crystal Fisher, for example.
Yes, happy that you jumped on that.
Absolutely important. It is absolutely important because guess what? What you are basically saying here, and let's tie this back to the Commonwealth citizenship issue, is that if there are 5,000 Commonwealth citizens in Georgetown, in Region 4 rather, they, by virtue of being in Region 4, are availing themselves of the full menu of parties, but a Guyanese born and raised in Region 9 does not have the same option.
Exactly.
Particularly when a party meets the minimum standards. So do we see how we're bordering on the ridiculous?
Yeah.
And because we believe that social media and quote unquote is real,
Yes,
we're
this is the
reeled
beginning and
in
the end of everything.
by those, you know, by the influencers, and we don't stop and think for ourselves and analyze for ourselves. This is important because it means that if a teacher is transferred from, there's a HM spot open in, let's say, Region 8. There's a head principal spot, headmaster, headmistress opened in. Do you understand that because of what the Chief Justice has ruled, that it means that if I take a transfer to go to Region 8 for my job, and I take a transfer to go to from GECOM because it's just more convenient for me to vote in Region 8, that I am literally affected in my choice of who will be president of this country. And that is not what the law says. And as a drafter, one of the things you know and you understand is that when you're drafting laws, and one of the rules of interpretation is that the drafters and the framers could not intended such an absurd result.
Yeah.
So these things are important. They're fundamental to our way of life. And unless we stop and we understand it and listen, but like I know it can be hard because some people would say, oh, I prefer not to know. I don't want to know.
No, you got to know.
You got to know.
We got to
not
know.
Not having only know. You got to know. You got to understand.
Yeah. Yep. And this is the thing. All of us are still learning. And a lot of the people who voted for, and even some of them who did not vote for, Forward Guyana Movement, this is what is appreciated. Forward Guyana Movement has come on the scene, and you've been teaching. I remember one day the blackboard story in our campaign office, and people might look at it and chuckle and say, "Oh, yeah, a man's a turn teacher, a man's a Nigel turn teacher." But you know how many people learned from that?
You know, I had a call from a particular senior person, a political mainstay in this country. And that person said to me, so you mean it's not the same ballot in all 10 districts?
Look at that.
Because that person saw that explanation that Nigel and I were giving.
Yeah.
And so we have to, as a people, if we are going to control our destiny, we have to equip ourselves with, right? Knowledge is the principal thing, and in all you're getting, get understanding. You have to understand. You have to understand what is happening. Because if you do not understand, you'll always be at the mercy of the people who understand.
Exactly. And they're
so
going to take
this
advantage
whole
of
thing
it.
about our electoral reform has to be on the front burner.
Yes,
it has
does.
to be on the front burner. Imagine you have a situation where the commissioners of GECOM are sitting there. Mohammed has called for their
for them to leave, to resign their resignation.
And there's a lot of confusion around that. But can you imagine if the shoe were on the other foot? You think if the PPP were in opposition, the 3 commissioners would have been, they would have,
No, no.
based on the same interpretation. So we can't use convenient principle.
Exactly.
And so, as leaders, it's our duty to lead. It's our duty to make sure that we bring credible information to the people, not sensation, but credible information that will make sure that they are equipped.
Yep, and I am proud to say that Forward Guyana Movement is and will continue to bring that credible information. We'll take a quick music break. Remember, this is Forward Guyana Movement Sunday evening program on MAD 97.5 FM. I am Malika Ramsey, and of course, I am always, and it's always my pleasure to be talking to Madam Amanza Walton-Desir. Just take a quick music break, and we'll be right back with you.
Yeah, horse could not hold I. Oh no. So they had to turn Mark loose. Brother tell, yes, my friend, me good friend, with the first street again. Yes, my friend, me good friend, them set we free again. How in the world could this be? They have no idea what they have done to me. No, some may think it's a mystery, but I thank Jah. The day I man walk free, and yes, my friend, me good friend, with the first street again. Yes, my friend, yes, my friend, them set we free again. 10 years, trial and fail, clean and pure heart make man prevail. For my freedom, you put up the bail. No man, they are road shouted upon the mail. Riots wasn't few, then he candles burning through the night.
Y'all know I can cheat the system. I got to look on the screen to tell.
That's Boja Banton and Stephen
see?
Marley.
Look, I can put him a place tonight. Look at that. And I got the thing right in front of me.
man.
But she is correct. I need to remind y'all know she sing karaoke, right? Don't worry, Forward Guyana Movement can bring more karaoke and so for us because it's not just about the strictness and the dedication and the commitment to serious issues, but Forward Guyana, and I like to remind people that this is a people-powered movement, and we're always interested in people and where we go forward and how we move forward from there. So, Madam Fong, the leader, we have some other things to get to. I mean, the time is already going by quickly, so let's talk some more.
Yeah.
Let's talk about other upcoming major Forward Guyana Movement plans and things that we have to address almost immediately when it comes to our movement and our political party.
Oh, absolutely. So, we have been doing the work. We've been inundated with membership calls, and we want to join. What do we do? And so, in the coming weeks, we're going to look forward to Forward Women, Forward Youth. We've got some exciting initiatives because we, informed citizens make informed decisions. And so you're going to find a heavy emphasis on teaching because we're going to be, rolling out a series of infomercials and so on. And you look for us in your region. We're going to be publishing when we're coming. And because we really do believe in strong grassroots engagement. And so you'll be seeing a lot of that from us. I know Nigel London in Linden, he does a lot of engagement and grassroots and getting to the meat of the matter. I remember one morning I got a call, Nigel, Amanza, you know where I am? under the bridge. Under which bridge?
Yeah, when we
Under
were
the
all
Mackenzie
afraid
Bridge.
for him under the bridge.
If you see what is
Yeah.
going on under this bridge.
Like,
And you know, so it really does show, I think, demonstrate our heart in terms of getting
Yes.
to the meat of the matter and
It
bringing
does.
the
It
experience.
does.
Because
It
what
does.
is our concern? Our concern is how do we improve the lives of the people, whether we are in government
People.
or whether we are in
Outside.
opposition. It is about how do we. So if we got to compel the government to intervene, come and do it.
Exactly.
You
Exactly.
understand? Because at the end of the day, it's not about only, who looks good or whatever. I care about whether the problems that the people have are solved. And if you are controlling the purse, then you have the duty to solve it.
Yeah.
If I am controlling the public purse, then it is up to me to solve it.
And you're going to be held accountable
And
for
you
it.
have to be held
And
accountable
this
for
is
it.
why I will continue to say, members of the opposition, take lead. Even if you can't take lead, follow Forward Guyana movement, because we're about the people. Yeah, I know some of them going to say, oh, she presumptuous and she think Forward Guyana movement is it. Yes, we it, right? So take lead, because
Oh my God.
again, yeah, I know sometimes you can't with me, but you know, it is what it is. We are leading. We want better for our people. And I want to talk to you about another serious issue, which is Venezuela, because you have done some really heavy lifting and heavy moving work in terms of what you did during the 12th Parliament. But even before we get to that, you talked about being people and women and children and elderly and so on. Next month, it's always a sobering month for so many of us, who have had some who we've lost, whether it's friends or family. Next month, everybody's talking about Pinktober, but it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Talk about any plans that Forward Guyana movement has to become involved in that. How can we add to bringing comfort to people who've lost, people who are survivors, people who are still struggling with that disease?
Well, certainly advocacy important. Will be helping certain communities, because of course we're now growing, and so personnel and manpower, we will continue to build, but certainly collaborating on health screenings and health talks in communities, talking about early detection and the importance of screening. Someone who is in my inner circle is probably late 50s, never had a mammogram. I'm like, what? So making an appointment to make sure that it's done, taking the person to make sure that it's and walking them through that, because a lot of it is based on fear.
Yes,
a lot of it
is.
is like, if I do not acknowledge this, I don't want to know, type thing. And so encouraging, say, look, if you get screened, we catch it early, greater likelihood of survival. And really amplifying, because we do have some survivors in our midst, in our membership, amplifying their voices and having them encourage people who may be going through it, who may be battling with the loss of someone to breast cancer. So we have a month full of initiatives, and I think small but important interventions, because our mantra is one life at a time. We will change the world one life. We'll change this country one life at a time. And so if we reach women who who need that intervention, and we could save one life, then I will go to bed a happy woman.
Awesome. Awesome. All right. Again, those of you who are now joining us, this is our conversation with the founder leader of Forward Guyana Movement and Madam Member of Parliament. This is 97.5 FM, and welcome to those of you in internet land. Again, wherever you are, whatever time of the day you're watching this, we welcome you, and we're happy. We appreciate your support. Our former presidential candidate and founder leader would have thanked so many of you before, but I want to take this opportunity to thank those of you who voted for us, those of you who supported us throughout the campaign, those of you who helped us knock on doors, those of you who could not come out, because as you know, I always like to talk about the fact that there's this still still this aspect of fear in our nation. People supported from the background, but they were afraid to come forward again because we got monsters in power who think that once you're not supporting them, that you're fully against them and they must get rid of you. They must squat you like a bug. But it is what it is. We're working to change all of that. I did say I want to talk about the Venezuela thing, but I love when you speak about the importance of shared governance and it changing this country's trajectory. And I just want you to talk about that because at the same time I'm watching at the time too. I want you to talk before you talk about Venezuela because you've done so much in the last parliament to highlight. You've warned people that they need your warning and we end up in a whole mess. But I don't think they care. I want you to talk about, again, even as we deal with a new type of parliament, the importance of collaborating and more so shared governance. You always use Suriname as an example. Let's hear it from you.
I think it's going to have to be where we will have to go into the villages and the highways and byways and talk to people about why the current governance model does not work. It does not work for a multi-ethnic, multiracial society such as ours.
Yeah.
And look, I tell you, Malaika, we are coming on a time where unless we learn to live together as brothers, we're going to perish.
Yes.
And we're seeing where a number of truths that we thought were immutable are not necessarily immutable. We've seen that the world is changing, and what we thought was sacrosanct is no longer sacrosanct. The region as a zone of peace, for example, was a fundamental principle. It no longer is. And so if we do not understand that we have to be strengthened from within in order to be able to withstand what is coming down the pike geopolitically, then we as leaders are doing a disservice to our people. This goes beyond, and I'm asking Guyanese to open their eyes and understand that this goes beyond the PPP, New Win, Forward Guyana. This goes beyond that. This is coming to a time when we have to talk about the very survival of this nation. And unless we are able to put structures in place to safeguard our people, our Guyanese people, irrespective of who they support, and if our Guyanese people do not understand that if you do not look beyond who you support politically and demand proper governance and accountability, you'll be complicit in weakening yourself and this country and compromising our ability to withstand what is coming.
Correct.
Why do I say that is important? We have to look at how we equitably divide up this wealth, because the only thing that will keep us fortified is a national unified spirit. And to the degree that the spirit of unity in our country is compromised by greed, by inequity, by hatred, by racism, and all of these things, is the degree to which we are weakening ourselves.
Yes.
And so it falls to people in leadership positions like myself to advocate for the strengthening of our institutions, to advocate for equity. But the problem is that it cannot be delivered within the current construct, because the current construct does not allow for it. The current construct is a winner takes all. So 50%, 51%, 52%, you have 100% of the say. It will not work. And unless we as Guyanese reach into ourselves and understand that this need to be triumphalist, or 5 more years pandemic,
and
whatever,
we boasting and bragging about
you
that,
know,
yes.
and understand that, do not be so blind. There is none who is so blind that he who will not see. Not cannot see, who will not see.
Correct.
And so we have to wake up. The PPP believes in preaching a false unity. It is unity by capitulation. It is unity because they've ground you so far into the dust that you have no choice.
Yeah. You got to,
right? People gotta feed my family. I gotta do. And it is sad that is where we are now.
Yes.
but there is an opportunity for us to wrest this nation from that. So we've got to look at our governance structures. Constitutional reform has to be on the front burner. Constitutional reform has to be on the front burner. And, you know, for the people who believe that you have to have a government like the PPP empowered to thrive, understand that you do not.
You do not. No.
Understand that the best bet that you have is to advocate for a country where systems and institutions work, and those systems can deliver for the people, irrespective of who is in government.
Exactly. But I don't believe at this point why people will even think that they need a government like the PPP to try. Are we really thriving, Madam Fong,
Well,
Are we
no,
thriving?
We're not thriving. There's a lot of money, but there's no holistic development. So we're richer financially, but poor spiritually, morally. We're poorer.
Definitely.
In terms of just the quality of life that we have as Guyanese.
Yeah.
And so we're building a big fancy bridge. Absolutely wonderful, yay. But how many mothers can't feed their children?
How does it trickle down
How
to bread
does
and butter?
that, you know, how does the 10 million US that we're getting daily help us? And you know what is sad? We're seeing what's happening in countries like the US. We're seeing what's happening in the Middle East. We're seeing what's happening, and we are not taking the time to stop, assess, and course correct. And, you know, again, it falls to us as leaders to lead our people in the manner that will see them living successful, peaceable lives.
Yes.
Sometimes it may require doing the politically inexpedient. But if your mission is to leave Guyana better than you found it, then you don't have too much to worry.
Yes, and the PPP don't want to leave Guyana
If
better.
your
The
mission
PPP,
is to enrich yourself,
there you go.
aggrandize yourself,
There you go.
then you're going to have a problem with good governance.
There you
You're going to
go.
have a problem with constitutional reform. You're going to have a problem because what Guyana should be focusing on right now is developing a system where Guyanese are placed first and foremost, where the oil well comes to Guyanese first and foremost. Yes, foreigners can come. Yes, they can work. They can pay their taxes. But we must be able to
First.
live and thrive off of our natural resources.
we
Instead,
must
you
be
have
the
a
priority.
government that is giving priority to everybody else. And the only Guyanese who are being given priority are those that will bow, kowtow, and kiss their feet.
Yes.
And then they rig elections and bring in Commonwealth and other citizens to be able to maintain that. And they allow their supporters to feel this false sense of triumphalism and victory. When the only people who are winning are the friends, the family, and the favorites. This is why right now, even though Region 2 voted for them, the farmers
Already,
are bawling about the
It was
paddy
less than 2
prices.
weeks when they started
2
crying.
weeks, because guess what? They have built the system in such a way that they do not need you anymore. So you could cry, you could bawl, you could holler. They bring in Commonwealth citizens and they will vote for them.
And
because
according
guess
to them.
what? They will make it a condition of their employment that you got to vote like this.
Yes, exactly. So they're basically telling the farmers, look, 5 more years,
5 more years,
pon
pon
them.
y'all.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Folks, we have just a few minutes left in tonight's program. Y'all see the Madam Fong, the leader, shaking already, but sorry, I can't give y'all no more music because I have to. She must touch a bit on the Venezuela issue and let us know how important it is for the 13th Parliament, especially on Forward Guyana Movement's agenda.
Well, look, we're monitoring very closely what's happening. You know, there's a lot of tension brewing between the U.S. and Venezuela. And so, you know, I noticed an article that has said that Venezuela has equipped its civilians now with guns.
Yeah.
And of course,
Wow.
the implications of something like that for Guyana is what concerns me. The implications concern me deeply because of that porous border that we have.
Yeah.
And of course, Venezuela has laid claim to the Essequibo. They've passed a referendum. They've appointed a governor. And so my concern is, if Maduro now talks about defending every inch of Venezuela, does that include our Essequibo? And what are the implications of that for us?
And the
Right?
government is not talking to us about it.
And the failure of this government to prepare the people of Guyana. We're still engaging in song and dance. And we have this massive threat brewing. And so, you know, I worry about the geopolitical risks. I worry about Maduro escalating, because you know Maduro has this thing that he does whenever he's facing pressure at home. He ramps up his nationalist approach.
Yes.
And so he begins to talk a lot about Essequibo and so on. And of course, we have to deal with the heightened anxiety that our Guyanese brothers and sisters will certainly feel and face, because if this breaks out into conflict, we are looking at more migrants.
Yeah.
We already have over 100,000 here. How many of those are
just genuinely running from their country and not coming for us?
Coming for other political issues. And so, you know, Guyana has a close relationship with the U.S. And so we could end up being, I worry, strategic target for Venezuela.
Yeah.
Because of the traditional close ties that we have. And so we've got to look at the diplomatic dimensions. We've got to look at the legal dimensions. We've got to understand what this means, I think, strategically for Guyana, Malaika, because does this mean we have to expand our defense cooperation agreements? You know, how do we ramp up, for example, how do we ramp up screening at border posts? How do we deal with issues like, how do we control the narrative?
And do we have the human resources to do it? Do we need to train people? This is
true. And then of course Venezuela has infrastructure that is able to perpetuate or perpetrate massive psychological warfare.
Yeah.
And so you could have Guyanese living in a perpetual state of tense and of worry. And so it will be for us in the National Assembly, for the government to have an agenda to make sure that we are keeping the people of Guyana informed, keeping them in the know about what is happening, and demonstrating that at the national level, that as leaders, we can work together to deal with this issue.
Yes.
Because we are at the point that we have never been before. When Maduro is giving his citizens guns, it's only a matter of time before they get across the porous borders here.
And again, we don't know who is who.
And we don't know who is who that is already here. And this is why, you know, in the last parliament, when I was belaboring the point, and people were, oh, she's alarmed this is why I was speaking out about it.
You know,
it's
so much work.
Really, it's a lot of work that we have to do, Malaika. It's a lot of work that we have to do.
But what I know, I can speak for the sensible Guyanese people. Some of you are not there yet. You'll get there. We're at the top of the hour, which means we have to leave you. I can speak for the sensible Guyanese people. They're going to support. They're going to listen, and Forward Guyana Movement will continue to do its best as we continue to farm and strengthen and grow and prepare for the 13th Parliament. Madam Founder Leader, it's always a pleasure chatting with you, whether it's in public, it's in private. Folks, I gotta tell you, this is now my big sister, one of the persons I look up to. So thank you so very much for this discussion.
It's an absolute joy to be here, and you know, we're gonna be coming every Sunday night. To you, so stay locked in. We've got a lot of work ahead of us. Do not be distracted with the noise. Focus.
There will always be noise.
There will always be noise, and you've got to be able to tune out distractions. You've got to be able to focus on what is important. In everything, discern what is important so that we could stay focused. We have a country to build. We are 60 years old next year as an independent nation.
Yeah.
We have a lot of work to do. And we, for the first time, have the resources to do it. And yes, we are a small country, but we are also less than 1 million people if we're to believe where the count is. And so we have the opportunity to deliver a quality of life for Guyanese.
Yes, we do.
That hitherto we have not been able to. And so we've got to stay focused. We've got to scratch out the distractions and let's forge ahead. And you know what the national song says? We'll forge a nation's mighty soul, construct a nation's frame. That's literally what we're doing right now. And Guyanese have to understand that that is where we are in our history and act accordingly, as the old people say.
Amazing. Thank you so very much.
Thank you all for joining
viewers
us. God
and
bless.
listeners. Yeah, we're going to leave it there right now. Have a great week, an amazing evening, and be safe as always. Take care.
Wait, what's up?